Hi, I'm David Duncan and welcome to the first episode of this 5-part series where we take a look at Hollywood's greatest dance team. Well, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers had very successful careers individually, but it was in the 10 films that they made together that they are best remembered. Now, it was certainly due to their success as a team that ultimately launched them both to stardom, and it was in these films that they danced to the music from some of the greatest songwriters of the 20th century. Fred's success came firstly as a dancing partner with his sister Adele. The duo were a highlight of the New York stage in George Gershwin's Lady Be Good in 1924.
Fascinating rhythm, got me on the go. Fascinating rhythm, all a great bird. What a mess you making, the neighbors want to know why I'm always shaking just like a real bird.
They then followed this with Funny Face and went on to tour in the UK where they were a sensation. However, Adele fell in love and got engaged and decided to retire after their final show together, The Bandwagon. Fred continued as a solo act in the Cole Porter musical The Gay Divorce, which was a huge success that eventually led him to being signed by the producer David O. Selznick for RKO Pictures. Unfortunately, after his initial screen test, Selznick stated in a memo, "I'm uncertain about the man, but I feel, in spite of his enormous ears and bad chin line, that his charm is so tremendous that it comes through even on this wretched test." Well, loaned out to MGM for the Clark Gable, Joan Crawford film Dancing Lady, Fred finally made his film debut.
Do you feel like going through that opening number with Mr. Astaire?
All right.
Ready?
Yes, Pat.
Show Miss Barlow the routine on that opening number, will you?
I'd love to.
Good evening, Mr.
All right,
Barlow.
get him in the place.
Do you know the routine?
I've seen it often enough. I'll try.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, Harry, give us the pickup on that gang number, will you, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Stand up and sing. We've got the gang together. We always sang together. Stand up and sing.
Get in the swing. We've got no time for waiting. It's time to celebrate. Get in the swing.
Hi ho, the gang's all here. So let's have pencils and let's have beer. Hi ho, it's time to start and put some spirit in the party.
Oh boy, the world's all right. We won't be singing the blues tonight. Let's give the grand old cheer. It's all so merry when the gang's all here.
Ginger Rogers attained stardom in 1930 while appearing on Broadway in the George and Ira Gershwin musical Girl Crazy. In Ginger's autobiography, she stated that she first met Fred Astaire when he was brought in during rehearsals to help choreograph some of the dance moves, and not long after, she and Fred actually dated a few times. After the show closed in June of 1931, Ginger, who had already made 5 films for Paramount Pictures in New York, moved to the West Coast, where she went to work at Pathé Studios. But it was in the Warner Brothers films 42nd Street and Gold Diggers of 1933 that she gained the most attention.
Gone are my blues and gone are my tears. I've got good news to shout in your ears. The long-lost dollar has come back to the fold. With silver you can turn your dreams to gold. Oh, we're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. We're in the money, the sky is sunny. Oh man, depression, you are through, you done us wrong. Oh, we never see headline about redline today. And when we see the landlord, we can look that guy right in the eye. Oh, we're in the money, come on, my honey. Let's lend it, spend it, send it rolling around.
In 1933, RKO was getting ready to produce a musical called Flying Down to Rio that would feature the beautiful Mexican actress Dolores Del Rio, who would play the love interest opposite the heartthrob Jean Raymond. Now, it was hoped by the studio that both leads would achieve great success, but it was their co-stars who received 4th and 5th billing that ultimately stole the show. Ginger, who had not long before signed up with RKO, was thrilled to learn she'd be working with Fred again. Now, even though they were playing secondary roles, they each had their standout moments, whether they were singing a song or breaking into a dance.
In me you see a sinner, and dancing is my crime. It seems a sin I've got to give in, to sing proves my dignity. It makes me lose my poise. Some folks call it music. My folks call it noise.
If we don't, hey boys, wait a minute, will you?
It was also in this film that Fred was introduced to his lifelong friend and dance collaborator, Hermes Pan, who helped Fred when he was having trouble filling in a dance step.
He said, well, I'm working on a little routine, and said, would you like to see it? I said, it's a solo, but it's not finished, and let me know what you think. And so he showed me this fantastic routine that wasn't finished. And he said, but right here I'm stuck for a step. I need some sort of a... And for some reason, something clicked in my mind, and I remembered a certain break.
Come on, honey.
We'll show him a thing or three.
It was also Hermes that came up with the signature move of dancing head to head in Fred and Ginger's big number, the karaoke. Now, the film itself is a lightweight musical comedy which has its moments of fun, but overall is not very memorable today apart from introducing Fred and Ginger. The story involved a love triangle between Gene Raymond, Dolores Del Rio and co-star Raul Julian.
I want you to meet my friend, my best friend, Mr. Roger Bond. This is Signorina Resende, my fiancée.
Your fiancé?
Now, some of the dialogue is very suggestive, but it must be remembered that this was released a year before the production code took place.
What have these South Americans got below the equator that we haven't?
Hey, fella, twirl that old propeller. We've got to get to Rio and we've got to make time.
The finale of the film is impressive, as a host of beauties dance on the wings of planes as they fly over the coastline of Rio. Now, the executives obviously realised before finishing the film that they had made a real discovery in the teaming of Fred and Ginger, as the final shot in the film actually featured them, rather than the stars of the film, Dolores Del Rio and Gene Raymond.
Look, here comes Julio.
Gosh, that gal don't care who she gets thrown out of what.
Sadly, a tragedy occurred during production where cast member Raul Julian's wife was struck and killed in a car accident that was rumoured to be driven by the up-and-coming director, John Huston. Now, it's interesting to note that Gene Raymond assumed the film would be a box office bomb and was only too glad when production wrapped. He was very much surprised when it actually turned out to be such a big commercial hit. Now, Gene Raymond continued acting but never achieved great stardom, but he did marry actress and singer Jeanette MacDonald in 1937, and they remained together until her death in 1965. As for Fred and Ginger, it was the beginning of a beautiful partnership, but it almost didn't continue. You see, Fred was reluctant to make a second movie with Ginger. As mentioned previously, he'd been part of a dance team with his sister Adele and wanted to establish himself as a solo dancer. After flying down to Rio, Astaire sent a note to his agent about Ginger saying, "I don't mind making another picture with her, but as for this team idea, it's out. I've just managed to live down one partnership and I don't want to be bothered with any more." Well, it was only after Fred was offered 10% of the profits that he was persuaded to partner up for the gay Divorcee. The Gay Divorce was Fred Astaire's only Broadway musical without his sister Adele that opened in November of 1932 and ran for 248 performances. When RKO was looking for a suitable film to star Fred and Ginger together after flying down to Rio, the new head of production, Pandro S. Berman, bought the rights to the Cole Porter show, but had to change the name to The Gay Divorcee due to the new production code rules. He also brought over Eric Rhodes and Eric Blore from the Broadway show to complement Alice Brady and Edward Everett Horton as the supporting cast. The story starts off in Paris, with Fred playing a dancing star called Guy Holden, who's travelling with his friend and lawyer Egbert, played by the wonderful character comedy actor Edward Everett Horton.
Well, you know, as a matter of fact, my inner soul has always yearned to express itself in the dance. If you were I, what would you do?
Stick to law.
Unable to pay the bill at an upmarket restaurant, Fred is forced to dance to prove his identity. Sailing to London, they dock, and it's here that Fred meets Ginger and helps her out of a dilemma by loaning her his coat.
Now, let me see. Maybe I should have called your aunt.
Well...
Oh, I'm awfully sorry. Please take this.
Wanting to see her again, he embarks on a search for her, even though it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack.
I'm going to start looking for her. I'll find that girl Egbert if it takes me from now on.
Well, it shouldn't be difficult. After all, there are only 3 million women in London.
It's just like looking for a needle in a haystack, searching for a moonbeam in the blue. Still, I've got to find you. It's just like looking for a raindrop in the ocean, searching for a dewdrop in the dew. Still, I've got to find you. Hello! I've been looking for you.
Finally meeting up with her, he urges her to call him sometime, but doesn't realise she's actually in the process of trying to get a divorce and is seeking legal advice, by chance, through his friend Egbert. Egbert suggests hiring a male correspondent to give due cause for the husband to seek a divorce, and this is where the fun begins. While accompanying Egbert to a hotel resort, Fred meets up with Ginger, and they start a romance which culminates in a late-night dance to Cole Porter's Night and Day.
Aren't you ever going to stop running away from me? When two people are destined to come together as we are, there's no use in struggling.
Not long after this, Fred accidentally uses the password meant to identify the male correspondent.
Chance is the fool's name for fate.
You?
Me? Well, yes, of course it is.
So you're the man I've been waiting for.
None other.
I'll be waiting for you in my room, 216 at midnight.
When the real male correspondent shows up, more fun situations arise.
By any chance, are you Mr. Tonetti?
Io sono arrivato, io sono pronto. Rodolfo Tonetti at your service. Scusi, lady. I am fated to take foolish chances with.
Tonetti?
Mimi, are you the woman whose divorce Egbert Fitzgerald is handling?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. And you thought I was your co-respondent.
Realising that Fred is not the correspondent, Ginger sings and dances with him to the Continental, which, by the way, became a huge hit and ended up winning the Academy Award for Best Song of the Year.
It has a passion, the Continental, an invitation to moonlight and romance. It's quite the fashion, the Continental, because you tell of your love while you dance. Your lips whisper so tenderly, her eyes answer your song. Two bodies swaying, the Continental, and you are saying just what you're dreaming of. So keep on dancing, the Continental, for it's a song of romance and of love.
After it's discovered that Ginger's husband has been carrying on an extramarital affair, the divorce is finalised, allowing her to dance away with Fred to the music of the Continental.
I never saw this man in my life.
Oh, come, Professor. Don't you remember all those cheery little chats we used to have about rocks? You and me and your wife?
No, I do not.
And, would you know the professor's wife if you saw her?
Why, of course I would, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Am I Mrs. Brown?
No, ma'am. You're Mrs. Green.
Well, strike me pink.
Now, there was an interesting inclusion in the cast of The Gay Divorcee. A young 17-year-old long-legged blonde from Missouri performed a fun number called Let's Knock Knees opposite Edward Everett Horton. It was, of course, Betty Grable, who was soon destined for stardom herself a few years later as not only an actress, but a pin-up girl for the armed forces.
You're sweet and so agreeable, and I feel so gosh agreeable. Do warm me or I'll freeze, and let's knock knees.
You are so villain cooable, and I'm so I love youable. Come cuddle closer, please, and let's knock me.
When The Gay Divorcee opened at Radio City Music Hall in New York City, it was an immediate success, and as much as Fred Astaire would fight against it, cemented the partnership of he and Ginger for years to come. I'm David Duncan. Join me for the next episode of Fred and Ginger Cheek to Cheek, when we'll look at more of the wonderful films from Hollywood's greatest dance team.